Imagine for a moment that your life is a blank canvas, and you hold the brush in your hand. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, and every action you take paints a stroke on that canvas. The question is, are you painting the life you truly desire, or are you unconsciously recreating the same patterns over and over again? This audiobook is about learning how to attract everything you want in life, not through wishful thinking, but by aligning your mind, heart, and actions with the forces that shape your reality. Each chapter will guide you step by step, teaching you how to shift your mindset, raise your energy, and move toward the life you dream of. Let us begin. Everything begins with intention. Intention is not just a wish or a passing thought. It is a conscious choice, a declaration of where you are directing your life force. Without it, we drift aimlessly, like a ship carried by the tides, never arriving at any meaningful destination. But when you set a clear intention, you are taking the wheel of your life. You are telling yourself and the universe, this is where I am headed. Think of intention as a seed. Every seed holds within it the potential to become something far greater than its current form. A tiny acorn has within it the blueprint of a towering oak tree. But the tree only emerges when the seed is planted in the right soil, nurtured, and given the conditions to grow. In the same way, your intentions are seeds of possibility. When you plant them with clarity, nourish them with focus, and tend to them with patience, they inevitably grow into reality. The challenge is that many people live without consciously setting intentions. They wake up and let life happen to them. Their energy is scattered, their actions reactive. It is like walking into a forest with no sense of direction. You may keep moving, but you will never know where you are truly going. Intention, however, gives you a compass. It doesn't guarantee that the journey will always be easy, but it ensures that every step you take has purpose. Consider this when you walk into a room without intention. You might drift from conversation to conversation, leave without any meaningful connection, and later wonder what you gained. But if you enter with the clear thought, I want to build one authentic connection today, your focus shifts. You notice opportunities you might have overlooked. The person standing alone, the moment to genuinely listen, the chance to share something meaningful. That small intention transforms the entire experience. This is not magic. It is the power of focus. Your brain is wired to filter information based on what it deems important. When you set an intention, you activate this filter, often called the reticular activating system. Suddenly, your mind begins to notice people, situations, and opportunities that align with your declared focus. What you once ignored now seems to appear everywhere. There is a timeless truth. What you seek is seeking you. When you broadcast a clear signal of what you desire, life responds. But the key is clarity. A vague intention produces vague results. Saying, "I want to be happy," is too general. What does happiness look like for you? Is it peace of mind? Is it meaningful work? Is it the freedom to spend time with loved ones? The sharper your intention, the stronger your attraction. A practical step is to begin each day with a simple practice. Before the rush of life begins, sit quietly for a few moments. Ask yourself, what do I want to create today? What energy do I want to carry? What outcome do I want to move closer to? Write it down. Speak it aloud. Visualize yourself living it. Even if the intention is small, like, "I will remain calm and patient today." It sets the tone for how you show up. Over time, intentions compound. A single drop of water may not seem powerful, but many drops carve rivers, shape valleys, and move mountains. Your daily intentions work the same way. They carve the direction of your destiny. Remember this: life does not respond to hesitation, but it does respond to clarity. When your intentions are strong, specific, and aligned with your deepest values, you set forces into motion far beyond what you can see. You become like that focused beam of light, cutting through doubt, distractions, and fear, moving steadily toward what you have chosen. Intention is the beginning of attraction. Without it, nothing takes root. With it, everything becomes possible. Every great transformation begins not in the external world, but in the unseen realm of belief. Beliefs are invisible, yet they govern every choice we make, every step we take, and every possibility we allow ourselves to pursue. They are the quiet architects of our reality. If you want to attract everything you desire in life, you must first look inward and ask, what do I truly believe about myself and about the world around me? Belief is not just a thought you repeat. It is a conviction that settles deep in your heart. And here is the remarkable truth: life has a way of organizing itself to match your beliefs. If you carry the belief that the world is filled with opportunity, you will begin to notice doors opening everywhere. If you hold the belief that nothing ever works out for you, then, even when opportunities arrive, you will dismiss them, overlook them, or sabotage them without even realizing why. Think about a person who dreams of starting a business. If they secretly believe, "I am not capable of success," they will approach every challenge with hesitation. At the first sign of difficulty, they will retreat, confirming their own limiting belief. On the other hand, imagine someone who holds the belief, "I may not know everything yet, but I can learn, grow, and succeed." That belief becomes their fuel. When setbacks appear, they don't see them as proof of failure. They see them as stepping stones, as part of the process. Both individuals live in the same world, but their realities look completely different. Why? Because belief shapes perception, and perception shapes reality. This is why so many people underestimate the power of belief. They think success comes from circumstances, from luck, or from talent alone. But in truth, those who achieve extraordinary lives are those who believed in possibilities others could not yet see. Belief is the soil in which your intentions take root. Without fertile soil, the seed of your desire cannot grow. Here is a practical way to examine your own beliefs. Take a sheet of paper and divide it into 4 areas: money, relationships, health, and personal growth. Under each category, write down the first thoughts that come to mind when you think of it. For money, perhaps your thought is, "It's hard to earn." For relationships, you might write, "People can't be trusted." For health, maybe, "I always get sick easily." These are not just random thoughts. They reveal the unconscious beliefs that shape your reality. Once you see them clearly, you have the power to question them. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me, or is it holding me back? Changing belief is not about pretending or forcing yourself to say something you don't feel. It begins with awareness, and then choosing a belief that feels a little more empowering, a little more open. For example, instead of clinging to, "Money is hard to earn," shift toward, "I am open to discovering new ways to create value and attract income." Instead of, "People can't be trusted," you might shift to, "There are trustworthy people in the world, and I am capable of building healthy connections." Step by step, belief begins to evolve, and your reality follows. One wise saying goes, "Your thoughts create your world, but your beliefs sustain it." In other words, what you repeatedly believe becomes the environment in which you live. If you want to attract abundance, love, success, or peace, you must first create a foundation of belief that supports it. Remember, belief is contagious. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. At first, your new belief may feel like a fragile flame, flickering in the wind of old doubts. But as you nurture it daily, through affirmations, through action, through surrounding yourself with supportive people, that flame grows into a steady fire, and once belief burns brightly within you, it lights the path ahead, guiding you toward the life you desire. So pause, reflect, and choose your beliefs wisely. They are not just quiet thoughts. They are the architects of your destiny. Gratitude is more than a polite thank you. It is an inner state that reshapes the way you see the world, and in turn reshapes the kind of world you live in. Gratitude is energy, and energy is magnetic. What you consistently appreciate grows stronger, and what you take for granted fades away. When you learn to live in gratitude, you step into a frequency that naturally attracts abundance, opportunities, and peace. Pause for a moment and reflect. How often do we find ourselves focused on what is missing? We dwell on what we don't yet have, the goals we haven't reached, the money we wish we earned, or the relationships we wish were different. In doing so, we send a constant signal of lack. That signal attracts more lack. It becomes a cycle of dissatisfaction. Gratitude is the force that breaks this cycle. It shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance, from emptiness to fullness, from complaint to appreciation. Think about a person who constantly complains. Even when good things come, they quickly overlook them and move on to the next dissatisfaction. Now think of someone who is thankful for even the smallest moments. The warmth of sunlight on their face, a meal on the table, a stranger holding the door open. Who do you imagine lives with more peace? Who do you imagine attracts more kindness, support, and blessings? Life reflects back the energy we carry, and gratitude is among the highest energies you can embody. Here is a simple but powerful story. A man once lost his job and felt despair. He worried about bills, about the future, about his worth. But instead of drowning in fear, he decided to begin every morning with gratitude. At first, it was hard. He could only list small things. I am grateful for this cup of tea. I am grateful that my children are healthy. I am grateful for the roof over my head. Day by day, his perspective shifted. He became calmer, more open, more resourceful. Within weeks, he noticed new opportunities. A conversation with a friend led to freelance work, which grew into a business. Gratitude did not magically deliver him wealth overnight, but it created the inner space for him to see possibilities instead of problems. That shift made all the difference. Practical application. Begin your own gratitude practice. Each day, write down 3 to 5 specific things you are thankful for. The key word here is specific. Do not just write, I'm grateful for my family. Instead write, I am grateful for the way my daughter smiled at me today. Specific gratitude deepens the emotional impact, and emotion is what amplifies energy. Another practice when facing challenges, ask yourself, what is the hidden gift in this? Even in struggle, there are lessons, strengths, or new directions that reveal themselves. Gratitude does not deny pain, but it transforms how we carry it. Science has shown what wisdom has always known. Gratitude rewires the brain. It increases happiness, lowers stress, and strengthens resilience. But beyond the science, gratitude shifts your vibration. It makes you radiant, approachable, and magnetic. People feel safe around gratitude. Opportunities find their way toward gratitude. Remember this: gratitude is not a destination. It is a daily practice. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. And as it grows, so does your ability to attract the life you desire. Gratitude is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Appreciate what is here, and you prepare yourself for what is coming. When you give thanks in advance, life often responds by delivering even more reasons to be thankful. So let every day begin and end with gratitude. For in gratitude, you do not just see life as it is, you see life as it can become. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the life you desire most. Picture it in detail, the place you live, the kind of work you do, the people around you, the way you feel waking up in the morning. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is a deliberate practice of creating, in your mind, the reality you wish to step into. Before anything becomes real in the outer world, it must first exist in the inner world of imagination. Visualization works because the mind does not fully distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced. When you imagine yourself achieving a goal with clarity and emotion, your brain begins to wire itself for that outcome. In essence, you are rehearsing for your future, just as a musician practices scales or an athlete rehearses movements. Visualization is mental practice for the life you want to live. Think about how every invention in history began. The airplane was first an image in the mind of a dreamer. The light bulb, the computer, the skyscraper, each was visualized long before it was ever built. If you want to attract something into your life, you must first learn to see it, to feel it, and to hold it in your inner vision. Imagine an athlete preparing for a race. Long before stepping onto the track, they sit quietly, eyes closed, breathing deeply. They picture the starting line, the sound of the gun firing, the rhythm of their feet against the ground, the roar of the crowd as they cross the finish line. By the time the actual race begins, their body already knows the path to victory because their mind has traveled it many times before. The same principle applies to you. If you want success in your career, visualize yourself giving that confident presentation, closing that important deal, or receiving that promotion. If you want love, visualize yourself surrounded by warmth, companionship, and laughter. But here is the key. Visualization must be more than just seeing an image. You must feel it. What emotions rise within you as you picture your desired reality? Do you feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude of already living that moment? This is where the true power of visualization lies. In emotion, emotion charges the image with energy, and that energy begins to attract similar experiences into your life. Practical application is simple. Set aside 10 minutes each day. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe slowly, releasing tension. Then bring your vision to life. Engage all your senses. If you dream of a new home, don't just see the walls. Imagine the scent of fresh paint, the texture of the furniture, the warmth of sunlight through the windows. If you desire financial freedom, imagine not only the numbers in your bank account, but also the peace of mind as you pay bills effortlessly, the laughter of your family enjoying experiences without worry, the confidence in your step as you walk into the world free from financial stress. Be consistent. Just as a seed needs daily sunlight and water to grow, your vision needs regular attention. Visualization is like tending a garden in the mind. At first, you may not see much change, but over time, the image grows stronger, your actions align with it, and life begins to reflect it back to you. Remember this timeless truth. Everything is created twice, first in the mind, then in reality. When you visualize, you are creating the blueprint of your future. Without that inner blueprint, it is difficult for the outer structure to take form. But with it, the world seems to conspire in your favor. So, practice daily. See it, feel it, live it in your imagination until it becomes so familiar that reality has no choice but to catch up. Visualization is not about escaping the present. It is about shaping the future. And the more vividly you can see it within, the sooner you will hold it in your hands. Desire without action is like a seed never planted. It holds potential, but it will never grow into something tangible. Many people misunderstand the process of attraction, thinking it is only about thoughts and feelings. But the truth is thoughts and feelings create direction, while action breathes life into them. Imagine someone who spends hours visualizing their dream career, feeling the excitement, imagining the office, picturing the success, yet never sends a resume, never learns new skills, never reaches out to opportunities. Their dream remains in their mind, but never manifests in the world. Why? Because energy must move forward through action. The law of action is simple for every desire. There must be a step taken in its direction. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between imagination and reality. Without it, attraction is incomplete. Think about water in a river. If it flows, it stays fresh and full of life. If it sits still, it becomes stagnant. Your desires are like that river. They require motion, and motion begins with action. Even the smallest step matters. Here is a practical truth. You don't need to know the entire path before you begin. Many people get stressed because they want certainty. They want to know every detail of how things will unfold. But life doesn't work that way. The road appears as you walk it. Taking the first step, even if it feels small, signals to yourself and to the universe that you are serious. That seriousness opens doors that were invisible before. Let's take an example. Suppose someone wants to write a book. They visualize it. They tell themselves they will do it someday. But months, even years pass without a single word written. Contrast that with another person who decides, I will write 1 page a day. At first, it seems insignificant, but after a year, that person has over 300 pages, a completed manuscript. The difference isn't talent, luck, or even resources. The difference is action. One wise saying reminds us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Notice, it doesn't begin with the entire map or with the perfect plan, just one step. When you take action, you generate momentum. Momentum is powerful because it builds confidence. At first, you may hesitate. You may question yourself, but once you start, energy gathers behind you. Each small action strengthens your belief, and belief attracts more opportunities. Here's a simple method. Whenever you set an intention or visualize a desire, immediately ask yourself, what is one small action I can take today that moves me closer? Don't wait for the perfect condition, because perfect conditions rarely come. Progress begins now. For example, if you want to attract health, action may be as simple as choosing water instead of soda today. If you want to attract love, action may be reaching out to a friend or practicing kindness with strangers. If you want financial freedom, action may be learning one new skill that increases your value. The step doesn't need to be grand. It only needs to be consistent. Action also signals commitment. When you act, you prove to yourself that your dream is worth effort. That commitment is magnetic. Life responds to those who show dedication, not just desire. Think of it like planting seeds in the ground. The soil does not respond to wishes. It responds to planting, watering, and nurturing. The more faithfully you tend the seed, the stronger it grows. And remember, action is not only about movement. It is also about alignment. Choose actions that match your desires. If you say you want peace, but spend your days in chaos, your actions are out of harmony. If you say you want success, but avoid responsibility, your actions contradict your goals. Attraction requires integrity between thought, feeling, and action. So take that step. Even if it's small, even if it feels imperfect, each step carries a message. I am moving toward my vision. And life, in return, will move toward you. It is not enough to simply think, visualize, or believe in your desires. Thoughts and beliefs are the foundation, but without action, they remain like seeds locked inside a packet, full of potential, but never growing into a tree. The bridge between wanting and having is action. Think of it this way. Your desires are like a destination on a map. Intention is the decision of where you want to go. Belief is the fuel that powers the vehicle. But without driving, without taking action, you will remain parked in the same spot. You can dream of arriving at the mountaintop, but unless you begin climbing, the view will never be yours. Too often, people confuse attraction with passive waiting. They imagine that if they just think positively long enough, life will drop everything into their lap. But the truth is, the universe responds most powerfully when you move. Small actions taken consistently act as signals, proving that you are serious about your intentions. Imagine a writer who dreams of publishing a book. They create vision boards. They write affirmations. They picture themselves holding the finished book in their hands. All of this is powerful, but unless they sit down each day to write a page, their dream will remain only in their mind. On the other hand, when they commit to the daily act of writing, life begins to align. Opportunities appear, Inspiration flows. Connections emerge. Their action ignites the process of attraction. Another example. Picture someone who desires to improve their health. They visualize a strong, energized body. They even believe it is possible. Yet, if they continue to eat poorly and avoid movement, nothing will change. But the moment they take small, intentional steps, walking each day, choosing nourishing foods, resting with care, their body begins to respond. They begin to attract the very health they envisioned. There is a saying, faith without works is empty. Belief gives power to your actions, but action gives shape to your belief. So how can you align your actions with your desires? Begin with clarity. Write down your vision in detail. Then ask yourself, what one step can I take today that moves me closer to this vision? The step does not have to be enormous. It might be sending an email, signing up for a class, setting aside 10 minutes for practice, or simply choosing a better thought in the moment. Each step is a declaration. I am moving toward my desire. Consistency matters more than perfection. The painter does not complete a masterpiece in a single day. They return to the canvas again and again, brushstroke by brushstroke. The same applies to life. 1,000 small actions create transformation, and each action compounds with the last. When you take aligned action, you send a message both to yourself and to the universe that you are worthy of what you seek. This creates momentum. You begin to notice opportunities that were always there but invisible before. The right people cross your path. The right resources show up at the right time. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is created by action. Many dreams are lost because people wait endlessly for readiness, for a sign that is time. The truth is, the sign comes when you start. Action itself is the spark. So remember this. Attraction is not only about thoughts and feelings. It is about embodiment. You must walk as though what you want is already on its way. You must act in alignment with the life you are creating. With every step, however small, you bring your desires closer to reality. You prove to yourself that you are not only a dreamer, but a doer. And in that alignment of belief and action, life begins to unfold in ways more beautiful than you ever imagined. Dreams are powerful. Thoughts shape reality. Beliefs set the foundation. But without action, all of these remain like seeds left on a shelf, full of potential, but never planted in the soil. This is where many people stumble. They believe that attraction means sitting quietly and waiting for life to deliver blessings to their doorstep. They imagine that by simply thinking positively, things will materialize. But the truth is, attraction and action are inseparable. Imagine a farmer. He may hold a clear vision of abundant crops in his mind. He may feel gratitude for the harvest before it comes. Yet, if he never plants a single seed, if he never waters the soil or tends the field, there will be no crops. His vision fuels his spirit, but his actions bring that vision into reality. So it is with your dreams. To attract what you want, you must also create the conditions for it to arrive. Consider a practical story. A young woman dreams of becoming a writer. She visualizes her books on shelves, imagines readers sending her heartfelt messages, and even believes deeply that she has something worth sharing. But year after year passes, and she never writes. She is waiting for inspiration, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for proof her dream is possible. Nothing changes. Now imagine the same woman, but this time she decides to act. She begins writing every morning, even if only a page. She studies the craft, submits her work to small publishers, faces rejection, learns, and improves. With each action, she signals to life, I am serious, I am ready. Soon, opportunities appear. A short story is accepted. A mentor offers guidance. The momentum builds. What was once only a dream begins to take form. The difference between the two paths is not intention or belief alone, but the courage to act. Here is the deeper lesson. Action is itself a form of faith. When you act toward your dream, you declare that you trust it is possible. You are no longer just thinking. You are moving, and movement is magnetic. It draws resources, people, and opportunities that would never have shown up if you remained still. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how once you begin taking steps toward a goal, coincidences start appearing? You meet the right person. The right idea comes at the right time. Doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. This is not mere chance. It is the law of action at work. Practical application. Start where you are, with what you have. Do not wait for perfection. If you want health, begin with a small daily walk. If you want wealth, start by learning how to manage the money already in your hands. If you want love, take steps to open your heart. Meet new people, or nurture the relationships you already have. Each step may feel small, but small steps build momentum. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence attracts greater opportunities. There is a timeless truth. Faith without works is empty. To attract everything you want in life, you must match your inner alignment with outer movement. The vision gives you direction, but your actions pave the road. So, ask yourself today, what one action can I take right now that brings me closer to what I desire? Then do it. And tomorrow take another, and the day after, another still. Because in the end, attraction is not just about waiting for life to happen to you. It is about partnering with life, showing through your actions that you are ready, willing, and prepared to receive what you desire. Action is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It is the key that unlocks the door between your dream and your reality. Dreams and desires often begin in the mind, shaped by intention, belief, and visualization. But to attract everything you want in life, You must also take consistent action. Without action, the most powerful vision remains only an idea. Action is the bridge between imagination and reality. Think about a farmer who dreams of a great harvest. He may visualize the fields full of golden crops. He may believe that the soil is fertile and hold gratitude for the rain and sunlight. Yet, if he never plants the seeds, his vision will never come to life. Attraction is not about waiting passively. It is about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions so that they work together. Consistency matters more than intensity. Many people start with bursts of motivation, only to fade away when results don't appear immediately. But the truth is, transformation is rarely sudden. It is the result of small, steady steps repeated day after day. Just as drops of water carve valleys through stone, your consistent actions create lasting change. Consider the example of someone who wants to improve their health. They set the intention to be strong and energized. They visualize themselves running with ease and feeling light in their body. But if they exercise once and then give up, nothing changes. However, if they commit to 30 minutes of movement every day, even when they don't feel like it, the results begin to compound. Over weeks and months, their body transforms, their confidence grows, and opportunities align to support their new lifestyle. Life responds to action. When you move, doors open. When you show commitment, people and resources appear to help you. Have you ever noticed how once you start walking toward a goal, unexpected support shows up? Perhaps a mentor appears, or an opportunity arises at just the right time. This is not coincidence. It is the natural response to your willingness to act. One of the biggest obstacles to consistent action is perfectionism. Many people wait for the perfect moment, the flawless plan, or the right mood. But waiting for perfection is another form of procrastination. The truth is, clarity comes through action, not before it. Start where you are, with what you have. Even small steps move you forward. As the saying goes, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Here's a practical approach. Each day, choose 3 small actions that bring you closer to your dream. If you want financial freedom, perhaps that means saving a small amount, learning a new skill, and reaching out to a potential client. If you want to attract love, it could mean practicing self-care, joining a community, and showing kindness to others. Over time, these small steps accumulate into momentum, and momentum is what creates results. Consistency also builds trust, both within yourself and with the world around you. When you act consistently, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, disciplined, and worthy of your desires. Others notice your commitment, and opportunities naturally gravitate toward you. Let me tell you a story. A young writer once dreamed of publishing a book. For years, they thought about it, spoke about it, and even visualized it. But nothing happened until they made a simple rule: write 1 page a day. At first, it seemed too small to matter. But after a year, they had a complete manuscript. What once felt impossible became inevitable because of consistent action. Ask yourself now, what small step can I take today toward the life I want? Remember, you don't need to leap the entire distance at once. You'd only need to move forward steadily, faithfully, every single day. Attraction is not about waiting for life to deliver your dreams. It is about meeting life halfway. The moment you show up with consistent action, you tell the universe you are serious. And when you are serious, life takes you seriously. So take the step, however small. Repeat it tomorrow and the next day, and the day after that. Over time, your actions will weave together into the life you once only imagined. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful, and it is the secret ingredient to attracting everything you desire. There is a hidden truth about attraction that many people overlook. Nothing comes into being without movement. Dreams, no matter how vivid, remain only dreams if you do not step into action. You can visualize, you can affirm, you can believe with all your heart. But if you never act, the seed of intention cannot take root in the soil of reality. Think of a farmer. He may dream of a harvest. He may see in his mind fields full of golden wheat. He may even feel grateful in advance for the abundance that is coming. But unless he tills the soil, plants the seeds, waters them, and tends to them daily, no harvest will appear. Attraction without action is like planting without sowing. It leaves the ground barren. Action is not always about grand gestures. Often, it is the small, consistent steps that open the path. If your desire is to write a book, action might mean writing 1 page a day. If your dream is to build wealth, action could mean saving a portion of every paycheck, investing wisely, or learning new skills. If your goal is to find meaningful relationships, action may be as simple as opening yourself to conversations, showing kindness, and saying yes to invitations. There is a powerful rhythm between intention and action. When you act, you send a signal, not only to the world, but to yourself, that you are serious about your desire. This builds momentum. Each step, no matter how small, strengthens your belief that your goal is possible. And the stronger your belief, the more aligned opportunities flow toward you. Consider the story of an artist who dreamed of showcasing her work in galleries. For years, she imagined it, but never moved beyond her sketchbook. The moment she decided to take her art seriously, submitting pieces to small local exhibits, sharing her work online, speaking to other artists, doors began to open. Within a year, she was invited to display her paintings in a gallery. The dream did not arrive by accident. It came because she dared to act. Action also dissolves fear. Much of what holds people back is hesitation. the thought that they are not ready, not good enough, or that conditions are not perfect. But here is the truth: the conditions will never be perfect. The first step must often be taken in uncertainty. Yet once you move, fear begins to fade. Movement generates courage. Practical application. Choose one dream you hold right now. Ask yourself, what is one small action I can take today that moves me closer to it? Not tomorrow, not when the stars align, today. If you wish for health, perhaps it's taking a short walk or choosing a nourishing meal. If you seek financial growth, maybe it's opening a savings account or studying a skill in demand. The action does not need to be monumental. It simply needs to be real. Remember, the universe meets you halfway. When you walk toward your vision moves toward you. Opportunities seem to appear at the right time. Resources show up unexpectedly, and people cross your path who carry exactly what you need. But none of these connections are revealed until you make the first move. There is a saying worth holding close. Pray as though everything depends on heaven, but act as though everything depends on you. This balance of faith and effort is the key to attraction. You do not need to control every detail, but you must participate fully in the creation of your life. So, take the step. Write the first page. Make the first call. Learn the first skill. Speak the first word. Every great achievement was once a small action taken by someone who dared to move. Action is not the enemy of attraction. It is its partner. Together, they transform possibility into reality. There is a truth that must be understood. No matter how much you visualize, no matter how deeply you believe, no matter how powerfully you set intentions, nothing in life will happen without action. Action is the bridge between thought and reality, between desire and manifestation. But here lies a subtle secret. Not all action is equal. The most powerful action is inspired action. What does that mean? Inspired action is not forced, not desperate, not taken out of fear. Inspired action flows naturally when your mind and heart are aligned with your vision. It feels right, even if it is challenging. It may require courage, but it doesn't feel like a struggle against yourself. Instead, it feels like a step forward in harmony with the direction life is calling you toward. Think of an artist. They may spend weeks reflecting on an idea, visualizing it in their mind. Then, suddenly, inspiration strikes. They pick up the brush and begin to paint, not because someone forced them, but because something inside tells them, now is the time. That is inspired action. It carries with it an energy of flow, of momentum, of authenticity. This applies to all areas of life. If you dream of building a business, inspired action might be the sudden nudge to reach out to a potential partner, or the feeling that today is the day to start writing down your business plan. If you long for love, inspired action may be the quiet courage to begin a conversation. with someone you admire, or to open yourself to new experiences instead of staying locked in routine. But here is the challenge. Too many people wait endlessly for inspiration, thinking they must feel perfect clarity before they move. This is a mistake. Inspired action often comes in whispers, not in shouts. Sometimes, the inspiration reveals itself as you move. The simple act of taking one small step generates momentum, and that momentum reveals the next step. Action feeds inspiration, and inspiration fuels further action. A practical example. Imagine someone who wants to write a book. They wait for the perfect idea and for the perfect time. Months pass. Years pass. Nothing is written. Another person, however, sits down each day to write a single page, even if it isn't perfect. In the process, they discover their voice, their flow, their clarity. That daily act, small as it may seem, becomes inspired because it is aligned with their deeper vision. One eventually publishes their dream, the other remains stuck in waiting. So how do you know when an action is inspired? Pay attention to the inner signals. Inspired action often carries with it a sense of lightness, a sense of curiosity, or even a quiet excitement. It may also bring fear, but it is not the paralyzing fear of misalignment. It is the nervousness that comes before growth. There is a difference. One drains you, the other expands you. Learn to feel the difference. The path to attracting everything you want is not simply sitting still and hoping the universe delivers. The universe meets you halfway. When you act, doors open. When you step forward, life responds. When you move with purpose, unseen opportunities appear. Remember this guiding truth. Dreams don't work unless you do. But also remember, your work should not be frantic and scattered. It should be focused, intentional, and in harmony with your greater vision. So, each day, ask yourself, what is one step I can take today that moves me closer to my vision? It may be a phone call, a new habit, a small investment of time in your craft. Trust that these steps, though small, compound into a path that leads directly to your dream. Taking inspired action is the difference between a life of longing and a life of fulfillment. When you align thought, belief, gratitude, and visualization with consistent, inspired steps, you unlock the full cycle of attraction. Life begins to reward your courage, and you begin to see that everything you desire was waiting for you to move. The journey of attracting everything you want in life is not about a single breakthrough moment. It is about living in daily alignment with who you truly are and what you deeply desire. Alignment means that your thoughts, emotions, actions, and intentions are moving in the same direction. When they are misaligned, life feels like a struggle, as if you are swimming against the current. But when you live in alignment, life flows, opportunities appear, and the right people and circumstances seem to find you naturally. Think of a musical instrument. If a guitar string is out of tune, even the most skilled musician cannot create harmony. But when the strings are tuned properly, the simplest notes produce beauty. In the same way, when your inner world, your mindset, emotions, and beliefs is in tune with your outer actions, you create harmony in your life. That harmony attracts more of what you want. But what does alignment look like in practice? It begins with honesty. Each morning, ask yourself, do my actions today reflect the life I want to create? If your dream is to live with abundance, but your daily choices are driven by fear and scarcity, there is misalignment. If your dream is to live with love, but your thoughts are filled with judgment and resentment, there is misalignment. The smallest corrections each day bring you closer to living in truth with your desires. Consider this simple example. A person may say they want health and energy, yet they consistently choose habits that drain them. Another may say they want meaningful relationships, yet they avoid vulnerability and connection. These contradictions are what block attraction. The moment they begin to choose actions that match their words, even small ones, alignment is restored, and progress begins to flow. Living in alignment also requires trust. Sometimes the path toward your dream will not look exactly as you imagined. Opportunities may come disguised as challenges. People may leave your life to make space for others who support your growth. In these moments, alignment means trusting that what is unfolding is part of the bigger picture you have asked for. Just as a river bends and twists on its way to the ocean, your journey may have curves, but as long as you keep moving in the direction of your truth, you will arrive. Practical guidance. At the end of each day, reflect with 3 simple questions. 1. Did my thoughts today reflect the life I want? 2. Did my emotions today uplift or drain me? 3. Did my actions today move me closer to my vision? If the answer is no to any of these, do not judge yourself harshly. Instead, gently adjust for tomorrow. Like a pilot adjusting course during a long flight, small corrections daily ensure you reach your destination. There is great peace in alignment. When you wake with clarity, act with intention, and rest with gratitude, you live not in conflict but in flow. This flow is what magnetizes your desires. It is not about forcing life to happen, but about becoming so aligned that life cannot help but respond to you. Remember, attracting what you want is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming the truest version of yourself and letting the authenticity guide your thoughts and actions. When you align with your higher self, the self that already knows your worth, your purpose, and your potential, everything you seek begins to align with you. Living in alignment every day is the ultimate practice of attraction. It is not temporary. It is a way of being. And when you live in this way, you discover that the life you once dreamed of is not something you are chasing. It is something you are living. As we come to the end of this journey together, take a deep breath and reflect on the path we have walked. You began with a simple question. How can I attract everything I want in life? And through these chapters, you have discovered that attraction is not magic, nor is it luck. It is a process, a way of thinking, feeling, and living that aligns you with the life you were meant to create. We began with intention, the spark that ignites the fire of creation. Without clarity of intention, life drifts aimlessly, but with intention, it moves forward with purpose. We spoke of belief, the lens that determines whether you see possibilities or limitations. We explored gratitude, visualization, persistence, self-discipline, and the power of alignment. Each principle is not separate, but woven together like threads in a tapestry. Together, they form the design of the life you desire. Now, the question is no longer how to attract, for you already hold the tools within you. The question is, will you live these truths daily? Understand this life responds to who you are being in this very moment. It does not respond to your wishes alone, but to the energy, choices, and actions you embody consistently. If you want abundance, you must think, feel, and act as someone who lives in abundance. If you want love, you must live with love in your words and gestures. If you want success, you must carry yourself with the discipline, courage, and persistence of one who succeeds. The world reflects your inner state. Every thought you think plants a seed. Every belief you hold waters that seed. Every action you take nurtures its growth. And every emotion you carry shines light or casts shadow on what you are creating. This is why awareness is your greatest power. By choosing your thoughts, shaping your beliefs, and aligning your actions, you create your reality. One day, one choice, one moment at a time. Imagine your life 5 years from now. Picture the best version of yourself, standing tall, confident, fulfilled, and at peace. That version of you is not far away. It already exists within you, waiting to be expressed. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not time, luck, or circumstance. The gap is alignment. Every time you choose to live with clarity, gratitude, and courage, you step closer to that future. Yes, challenges will arise. There will be days when doubt whispers, when fear knocks, when progress feels slow. But remember this, the law of life is not broken by obstacles. Obstacles are part of the journey. Tests that strengthen your resolve and sharpen your focus. Do not see them as barriers, but as stepping stones. The universe never places a challenge in your path that you do not have the strength to overcome. So, let this be your closing reminder. You are the creator of your experience. You are not powerless, nor are you at the mercy of chance. Within you lies the ability to dream boldly, to believe deeply, to act consistently, and to align fully with the life you desire. Carry these truths with you beyond these words. Wake each morning with intention. Walk each day with gratitude. Face each obstacle with courage. And rest each night with peace, knowing that you are drawing closer, moment by moment, to the life you envision. The power to attract everything you want has always been in your hands. Now, it is your choice to live it. Remember, the life you seek is already seeking you. Step forward with faith, with clarity, and with unwavering alignment. And watch as the doors, once thought were closed, begin to open wide. This is your time. This is your life. And everything you desire is already on its way to you.